It's the
Father
Son Podcast.
Podcast.
Yeah, again today, Tuesday, and the subject will be should we keep cash? And the joke of the week is why did the coffee file a police report?
Give in.
It got mugged. Okay, so the topic is why should we keep or remove cash? First of all, what is your opinion on this, Dad?
I think you're asking me whether we should have a cashless society, and I would say no, because having some cash has some benefits.
Okay. Well, I was hoping... Well, I need to argue with you, but I agree with you there. Because if there is no cash, there is nowhere for the private citizen to hide any assets at all. Not just for criminal reasons, but simply for financial security. So say Wall Street collapses and all of your money is in a bank, it'll be worth nothing in like a day. It'll be worth nothing, and you can't buy food because you have no cash. But if you have cash, you can still have it, and it'll be fine. Or if you have gold, even more old school, you'll be even more fine to buy food.
Yes, well, sometimes cash can be worthless too.
That's right. But gold is never worthless. It never changes.
Not likely, yes.
So,
Less likely.
less likely. So what would the benefits be if we got rid of cash?
The benefits would give governments would be able to easily monitor what's all the money that's around and monitor all transactions, and they would be able to prevent a lot of crime and tax evasion. So that'll be some good things.
Well, what I was thinking was, if we did get rid of cash, in 20 years when I'm a parent and I'm giving my child pocket money, would I have to go, would you like a PayPal, credit or debit? Because, far out, you can't give your kids pocket money if there's no cash, because it will be digital, and everything shouldn't be digital because they'll be bad. And
yeah, I think that's a good, valid point, that having cash, having physical cash grounds the reality of having virtual cash that's in a computer somewhere. So it has a very educational value for children to understand what they're really dealing with. So it has an educational and informational effect for people. Otherwise, it's a bit like it's theoretically possible to spend your whole life flying on aeroplanes, right? And you have to land somewhere, of course, but then you can get another plane. Theoretically, you could spend most of your life flying, but that doesn't give you much reality of what living on Earth is really like. And so it is with cash. If you have no cash in the world, how are people going to ground the reality of what's going on with their money?
like in India, they got rid of their two highest cash notes because only out of 1 billion people, only like 90 million of them actually pay tax to the government because they cannot regulate it. There's too many people, so many transactions daily, and so many small businesses that they cannot tax it. Like here in Australia, they can tax everything. Like even if you're in a market store, there's probably some sort of form of tax you need to pay to have that market store there. But say you're in India and you have a market store, even a proper store, you probably have to pay little tax because the government there cannot regulate all the transactions. And that is why they removed the top two cash note thingy so people will have credit cards so that the government can tax it. So cash does not always have benefits because cash can. It'll be hard for the government to get taxes if everything was in cash. So that makes also India very dramatic, and that's why there's a lot of slave trades underground because there's so much cash. And because say you got $1 million in cash using $100 notes, it'll probably fit in a briefcase, right? Easily $1 million. Oh no, yeah, $1 million in a briefcase, easy. But if you had $10 notes, and you'll need a huge bucket or a sack just to hold all the cash. That is why the Indian government. So if you had to choose between just cash or just online digital cash, what would you pick?
You mean completely one way or the other?
Yeah.
I think I'll choose cash. But of course it's the modern trend is away from cash towards cashless. So it's hard to see it going back to all cash.
Well, if I had a choice between cash or cashless, I would probably choose cashless. Reasons because if you had cash, the only way to do online transactions will be buying gift cards. Buying hundreds of gift cards to buy something online. Which isn't, I do that, well, because it's safer, I guess. But say you want to do a big transaction, say you're a big company and you wanted to buy 500 laptops. You could not do that in gift cards because it would need lots of $100 gift cards to get 500 computers. But if they did it digitally, it'll be easy as pie. And bigger companies would probably rather it all be digital cash as well. Because they can do more, they can focus more on online. Because if you just did cash, the online businesses would crash almost instantly. But if you did cashless, the retail on the ground that is not online would still be able to survive because a lot of people still buy things with their credit cards, and you can still buy it online, which would keep all the businesses as they were. So if we did take away cash, it would just be the only people that would really suffer would be kids' pocket money and people's security for their financial stability, because if you did take it, it would not be very good. So say Australia decided, alright, we're going to get rid of the $100 note and the $50 note. Would you oppose, or would you be okay with that? I mean, the $100 barely ever used anyway.
The $100 hardly used it anyway. So I wouldn't object to the 100, but the 50 seems a very useful denomination. So I'd oppose that.
You'd oppose? Why would you oppose it? What's my main core reasons?
Well, the $50 is a very useful amount, and I like to, as I said, I like to keep some cash. I wouldn't like to go completely cashless.
Because, I think in Australia you can get discounts if you buy with cash. Like if I bought an Xbox with cash, you can get a discount. I'm pretty sure a small discount, like a GST discount. I don't know what discount, but you can pay less, but you have to ask the cashier. Because people in retail aren't 100% honest. They try and get your cash, pretty much. So, yeah. So the pros and cons of... What would you think the biggest pros of going cashless would be?
Yeah, it's just more efficient, I guess. And as I said, it would make it a lot harder for crime to flourish and tax evasions.
But don't big businesses get a miss out in tax anyway?
Yes, some tax would not still manage tax evasion could still occur, but it would chop out a lot of the more petty tax evasion and crime.
Because big businesses, they have banks in like Panama and Switzerland, and they have bank accounts everywhere, and so if America's stock fell, then it wouldn't affect them as much because they have bank account in Switzerland or Germany or some other place. So let's say we all had cash, Wall Street fell. What do you predict would happen?
Well, it could be that it could be a crisis, economic crisis.
Like,
and then
we only had cash at that time. Like, would it happen how it happened in 1917 or 610?
well, it could be go online. A crash could produce rapid inflation, and then cash could become some cash could become worthless.
Because in Germany, when this happened, children were seen playing with stacks of cash because they were zero value.
Yeah.
Wow. So, but say we had a Wall Street crash now, where we have lots of credit cards. Like, right now, we still have cash, but we still have credit cards. What do you think would happen then? Because say the notes were worthless, would that make the digital money worthless, or would the digital money be okay? Because digital money can be the AU, Australian dollar, the American dollar, the yen, the pound. What would happen?
Well, it depends what currency, I suppose.
So
but
US.
well, again, the money could be worthless as well in the same.
Including the online, with the online.
Could be all.
So
could be the same.
all of it is worthless. So say that happened, people with more cash than money online, would they be better off, or more people with more money online and less money as cash, would they be okay? Which one will be fare out better? Ones with more cash or ones with more online cash?
Again, hard to predict. If all cash became worthless, then it wouldn't matter if it was on a card or real cash.
Okay. So suppose if you knew there was going to be a crash in Wall Street, would you rather what would you do to prepare yourself for the situation?
Start planting potatoes.
So would you get all the cash into gold? Is that something?
Yeah, well, it might be too late by then.
But say you knew a year ahead, no one else knew. You're the only one.
Yeah, put things into gold or seed.
Well, seeds are pretty cheap. Right. Well, now
grain food.
Because I guess if that happened, it would be very expensive. What would happen if everything skyrocketed? Would we still have water and electricity, or would they cut the water and electricity if Wall Street fell?
Well, you still need money to operate these essential services. So, if the financial system collapsed, then all the infrastructure may collapse as well.
Oh dear. Well, so the only way to prepare for it is just buy gold and seeds and maybe a water tank.
Yeah.
Well, we're half prepped. We have a water tank and some seeds. So, thank you all for watching and listening. Not watching, no, you're watching. There's all listening.
And I've got an interesting fact to add.
Mm-hmm.
Very few Germans have credit cards.
Yep.
Which may be related to the fact that Germany, in German, debt and guilt are the same word.
Well,
So Germans don't like to go into debt
no one wants.
using credit card.
No one likes going into debt.
No, yeah, people don't like going into debt, but they sure queue up to go into debt.
Yeah, that's true. Well, see you next Tuesday if you're from Australia, or Wednesday if you're in America. Monday, I don't even know. Bye!
Bye.